In this video, we're combining Cosmogoyf from Edge of Eternities alongside a classic Doomsday to create a gigantic creature and then attack to win the game. Let's go check it out. In front of you is Cosmogoyf Doomsday, and if you're unfamiliar with Doomsday, the general idea is that you have this really powerful 3-mana black sorcery where you exile your library and graveyard, you choose 5 cards, and then you stack your deck. Okay, well, this is usually a deck that wins with Thassa's Oracle, a card that has been, dominating formats ever since its release with Theros Beyond Death. So if you have no library, you win the game, and then there's some text about devotion, but that's pretty much it. So in today's video, we're playing Cosmogoyf from Edge of Eternities, a black and a green for a Lurgoyf creature that's a star and then star +1, and then its power toughness are equal to the number of cards you own in Exile plus the 1 toughness. So the idea is that you would like to combine Doomsday, which exiles your graveyard and library, to stack your deck with Cosmogoyf, so that way you end up with a huge creature and then you can attack to win the game, or do the classic Thassa's Oracle route. Well, how do you get cards in exile? Well, you have Force of Will. This exiles a blue card from your hand, so that's one way. And then you have Murktide Regent, which has Delve, so you can exile cards that way, on top of the obvious Doomsday synergy itself. In the sideboard, you also have Force of Negation, alongside Force of Will for those combo matchups, but also another way to exile cards. So that's the idea. The build we're playing today is a little bit more of a tempo strategy. We are playing Tamiyo Inquisitive Student, 4 copies of Daze, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, Force of Will. If you're going to play the Cosmogoyf build, it lends itself into the tempo Doomsday shells better than the combo builds. I'm a combo player at heart, but if you're going to showcase a new card, you have to build the deck around it to make it successful. So that's what we're going to do today. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I just want to get attacking with giant Lurgoyf creatures, so I'll see you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop, or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw. I will keep this hand. I like that we have Thoughtseize plus Cosmogoyf. We're lacking a Force of Will if our opponent's doing something unfair, but I think that our hand is good enough where I'd like to keep it. Looks like we're facing an 8-cast style deck, or maybe Jewel. Okay, so they have a turn 1 in Manifold Key, so that means that I'm going to want to Thoughtseize on turn 1. You could try to Ponder, but I think I just want to take the guaranteed interaction in case the Ponder misses. We'll grab the Bayou, and let's play Thoughtseize. They have 4 cards remaining in their hand. Okay, it looks like I'll be taking the Grim Monolith here. So you might be saying, why not untap, or why not take Stock Up or the One Ring? Well, they can't currently cast either of those cards, so I'm hoping that my Ponders buy some time and, that sort of thing in order to allow me to get ahead. Our opponent's paying 2 mana here. Transmute Artifact, sacrificing the Manifold Key. They can grab another artifact that costs 1 or less. I guess it's a Mox Opal, so that allows them to play Stock Up next turn. Murktide Regent, that does not help here. We'll play Ponder. I believe we have to shuffle this. Unfortunate. Hey, that was a good draw. Okay. Stock Up. I'm going to Force of Will here. And we'll exile the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. So they're 1 mana short of being able to play the One Ring. Thassa's Oracle was not a good draw. We'll play Ponder. Daze, Force of Will, Street Wraith. I like all of these. I'll take the Force of Will. You can make the argument for taking the Daze here, but if my opponent draws an Ancient Tomb, they could play the One Ring through Daze, and that's a concern of mine. So I didn't want to take the Daze and then be punished. The One Ring, I'm going to Force of Will, and we can exile the Thassa's Oracle here. I think we're just going to win by attacking this game. So now we'll draw Daze, play the Ponder. Okay, that looks pretty good. They have 1 unknown in hand. Take the Thoughtseize, and then we'll play it. Pro Mox. That's a disappointing card to Thoughtseize away. Alright, so they have no hand, and they're in top deck mode. We're going to cycle the Street Wraith, play the Underground Sea, and I guess the thing that wins the fastest here is actually Murktide Regent, so we'll play that. So you can make the argument of playing the Cosmogoyf, but Cosmogoyf is going to be just as big next turn, so it doesn't hurt to start with the Murktide Regent. They play land number 5, or mana number 5, I shouldn't say land. One of them is a Mox Opal. Cosmogoyf, a good draw, and now we'll attack with the Murktide Regent. And now we'll play Cosmogoyf. No Doomsday even needed. We're just representing lethal the old-fashioned way. 7-8 Lurgoyf. Tarmogoyf has nothing on this thing. Boom. I remember a time period in which every deck on MTG The Source was trying to play, we'll just Force of Will this, was trying to play Tarmogoyf. Like, it was in Goblins, it was in Merfolk, combo decks tried to sideboard into it. Tarmogoyf was everywhere. And now Tarmogoyf sees no play. And now we have a slightly power-crept Cosmogoyf. Alright, so we're facing a Paradoxical Outcome style deck here. We likely want the Force of Negations, the Flusterstorms, maybe the Veil of Summers. But what do you take out? We could just try to be a control deck and board out the Doomsday package, which feels bad, but there's a chance that it's the right move. So you would take out the Edge of Autumn, the Street Wraith. You could probably leave and consider. Get rid of the Thassa's Oracle. And then the Dark Rituals. And just like, now you're just Dimir Tempo. Or I'm sorry, Bug Tempo. And you can bring in the Abrupt Decays. This feels wrong. You can maybe board out the Cavern of Souls too. I suppose we'll leave the Cavern of Souls. I don't think there's a card I like more in the sideboard. But we just sideboarded into Sultai Tempo. I don't know if I love this, but we're going to do it. I think it's the actual correct thing to do. It just feels bad that this is the combo channel and we're no longer playing a combo deck. But, well, you know, it happens. I care more about winning than, you know, maintaining the theme or whatever. Our opponent keeps 7, so will we. They play a Sink and a Stupor as a land going down to 17. Sure. Blue to Delta. I have a feeling they might have a counter spell for my Thoughtseize, so I'm going to wait a turn here, and I'll just hold open Flusterstorm for stock up. I can always surveil on the end step, too. There's a Saga, sure. We'll fetch. Grab the Undercity Sewers. I think we'll keep the Tamiyo. And I will... Actually, hold on. Let's go grab... I suppose I could grab Tropical Island here. Yeah, that might be better. Alright, and now we'll Thoughtseize. I was going to grab Badlands, or not Badlands, Bayou, but I think Tropical Island is better in this situation. And they do have the Flusterstorm. This is what I thought they did. They were holding open on turn 1. So I'm not going to fight here, but I do think I'm going to play the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. And now we'll pass the turn. Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. There's the Ancient Tomb. Mox Opal, they have 4 cards in hand. Force of Negation. Let's go to combat. We'll attack and create a clue. Play the Brainstorm. Tamiyo will transform, and holy moly, that was a draw 3. So we'll put the 2 non-blue cards back on top. And at this point, you're sort of just saying good luck winning to the opponent. Like, yeah, they can make some construct tokens, but if they're trying to combo win, it's going to be very difficult for them. We'll plus the Tamiyo. Pass the turn. And they do make a construct. I think that I should have thought a little bit more about the order in which I was putting back the cards, because I would like Cosmogoyf to be on top and not the Abrupt Decay. Now they'll make another construct. Lava Spur Boots. Okay, so if this is the game plan that they're going with, I could be in trouble here. So this construct token, the 5/4 can kill my Tamiyo, and then the 4/4 can hit me. On my turn, I can play a Murktide Regent in order to slow them down a little bit. Okay, I'm at 15. And the Cosmogoyf was the top card, but I think right now, I just want to play Murktide Regent, even though it's only a 4/4. I'm sorry, 5/5. So I guess it would have been better if the Abrupt Decay was the top card, but oh well. Alright, we have a 5/5 Murktide Regent. They play the One Ring. 4 cards in their hand. I will Force of Negation, Exile Flusterstorm. They force will, exiling Sink in a Stupor. I know my top card is Abrupt Decay, so I think it's better to keep the Daze than the Force of Will. I'm at 14 now. Force of Negation exiles the One Ring. Do I trade my Murktide Regent with this construct? I think yes. So now this construct token is a 3/3. And I can slam the Cosmogoyf. Black, green, and it's a 7/8, which is fairly large past the turn. They're going to 8 life now. Another copy of the One Ring. I suppose I could have dazed that, but they have the Mox Opal open. I don't even know if that's like a good move. It just stops them from equipping the Lava Spur Boots, but I don't think that really matters here. They play a land tapped. We draw Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. I will pass the turn. So they're going to go to 7 in their upkeep off the One Ring, and then if I can force through the Cosmogoyf for damage, we win here. So if I Abrupt Decay the Construct token and they can't answer with the Cosmogoyf, we win. They play a land, 4 cards in their hand. They're going to 3. Undoing 1 Ancient Tomb, now 2. Our opponent realizing that they're low on life. 4 mana. Another copy of the One Ring. I'll draw off my Clue token. Oh, it's a Ponder. So if I daze the One Ring, they'll go to 5. I feel like that's worth it. We'll pick up the Tropical Island. Alright, so they're going to pay, going down to 5 life. And they get rid of the One Ring that has the counters on it. And now they activate and draw 1 card. They play a Grim Monolith. Sure. Aetherflux Reservoir. So apparently that's how they're gaining life. Interesting. We find Veil of Summer. I think I'm going to ponder looking for interaction. We don't find it. I could keep a Murktide Regent, but I don't think that's the move here. I mean, I could take the land for the Abrupt Decay. It's just I don't know how much that really matters. I think I'll shuffle. We draw the Murktide Regent anyway. Play Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. They have ring protection, so there's no point in attacking here. They go to 4 life. We need them to not draw spells that they can cast. So they're going to draw 2 here off the One Ring. Apparently they drew a Thoughtcast. That is not good for me. Another Grim Monolith back up to 5 life. Thundertrap Trainer with Offspring. So now they have multiple blockers for the Cosmogoyf. I feel like our opponent has likely stabilized. Paradox Engine, that's really not good for me. And a Mox Opal. They can play the Mox Opal and gain 4 life. And they do. Now they're up to 10. Another Ancient Tomb. And now they can play the Paradox Engine. Okay, coming back to our turn. We find Force of Negation. Okay. They have 4 cards. I guess I just kill the Construct and attack. Make them start blocking. Swing. So they do block the Cosmogoyf, which makes sense. And now I create a Clue token because of the Tamiyo trigger. We have to pass the turn and hope that our opponent just doesn't have it. Their One Ring is going to draw 3 additional cards. So they're going to draw a card for turn up to 5. And then when they tap the One Ring, they'll go up to 8 cards in hand. And they do exactly that. They play the Paradox Engine. I'm going to Force of Negation. We need this to resolve. And they Force of Will, exiling Consign to Memory. Okay, we likely lose. And now they can untap everything. Yeah, we can go to game 3. I was not interactive enough and the opponent recovered. So I will say that Tamiyo felt a little underwhelming, but maybe it's just because the one we did flip died to Construct tokens. Like, I don't know if it would actually be better if we sided in the Doomsdays instead. I think I'm going to stay the course and just resubmit. On the play. Sure, we'll keep. Play the Polluted Delta and pass. Ancient Tomb into Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. They have 5 cards in hand. Turn 1 stock up. I think I'm going to let this go. Because they burned a card to cast it. So I think I'd rather just save my Force of Negations for the cards that actually matter. On the end step, I'll fetch. If I had a Flusterstorm, I would have used it there. But I don't think I want to burn a Force of Negation, especially when my hand needs some converting here. Tamiyo was good. We'll fetch and grab Tropical Island, play the Tamiyo, and Brainstorm. So you might be saying, why do this in my main phase? Which is a fair question. I want to get ahead on plussing the Tamiyo, because every time you can use one of the modes of the Planeswalker side to get ahead, it really helps. It looks like they're going to Fluster Storm. Sure. We'll pass. They play Urza's Saga. Chrome Mox, okay. 4 cards left in their hand. They exile a Stock Up. And now they play another. This time I think I will counter the Stock Up when they only have 2 cards left. Force of Negation, exiling Force of Negation. Another Polluted Delta. I don't love that. We'll attack with the Tamiyo. So I thought about keeping 1 Force of Negation and holding up the other this turn. But if they follow up with a One Ring, I like the idea of applying pressure with the Murktide Regent. And here I think I'm going to grab a Surveil land, because it could potentially pump up the Murktide Regent. Although I want the Brainstorm, so I'm going to keep that one. And we'll play Murktide Regent as a 5/5. Pass. Urza's Saga goes to the second chapter. They play Seat of the Synod. Still 2 cards in their hand. And they bounce my Murktide Regent. Okay. Sure. Interesting. We will attack with the Tamiyo. Play the Brainstorm. Well, that was very good. I think I'm going to put back the Thoughtseize, and we'll keep 1 other Murktide Regent. Tamiyo transforms now. We'll plus the Tamiyo. Play the Polluted Delta. And then we'll play a gigantic Cosmogoyf. Pass the turn. So I've used both of my Surveil lands, so I do not have another one to grab here. They make a Construct. Our opponent searched out a Mox Opal, and now they're casting a Lotus Petal with 1 card left in their hand, which was a Thought Cast. Okay. 2 cards remain. And step will fetch. I don't want the Murktide Regent. We'll grab another Underground Sea. Force of Will. Plus the Tamiyo, and I think we're supposed to be trying to protect the Queen here. I'll draw a card using the Clue token. Cavern of Souls. I guess I could name Dragon. We'll play the Cavern of Souls. We will name Dragon. And then I'll sacrifice the other. Veil of Summer. Okay. I mean, odds were we drew a blue card, but I drew the Veil of Summer, so we'll just pass here. And now they're playing a Transmute Artifact. 2 cards in their hand. I think I'm going to Force of Will this. Really wish I had a green mana open, but oh well. And now they Force of Will back. They have no hand. So they could sacrifice like a Mox Opal here and then go grab a One Ring, but they don't get the protection. They sacrifice the Chrome Mox. I guess that makes more sense. And they are, in fact, grabbing the One Ring. You don't get the cast trigger, but you do get to draw cards, which is fairly good. Another Cosmogoyf, wow. So I guess we attack them. And they do block. We'll play the other Cosmogoyf. And then we'll minus the Tamiyo. And return Force of Will. So we don't actually have the other blue card, but I can hope to cycle Veil of Summer into a blue card. That's the ideal situation here. Our opponent goes to 10. And now they'll draw 2 cards off of the One Ring. 4 cards in their hand. Grim Monolith. I suppose that's allowed to resolve. I can't cycle Veil of Summer, so... And now they have a Manifold Key. We'll allow that to happen, I suppose. They untap the One Ring, and now I can draw 3 cards. They're up to 5 cards in their hand, 3 available mana. They play their land for the turn. Paradoxical outcome. So, this is my moment to cycle Veil of Summer into a blue card. And our opponent knows my last card in hand is a Force of Will. And they have their own Force of Will. Okay, do your thing, opponent. Did you stabilize? They've already played their land, so they need another way to get the Grim Monolith in play here. So we know that they have Mox Opal, Manifold Key, Grim Monolith, the One Ring. And then they just drew 4 cards. So they had 1 card in their hand plus 4 new cards. They need another way to get the Grim Monolith back into play. So another Lotus Petal or something. And also, the Mox Opal is not even active here. There's only 1 artifact. Yeah. Cosmogoyf, just threatening lethal. Look at these things. 7/8s. Gigantic. Tempo Gaming. That's what we're doing apparently. And we're now 1-0 all over Paradoxical outcome. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. For round number 2, on the draw, we've opened up a Doomsday hand, not a tempo hand. We'll try this. I wish the Cavern of Souls was another fetch land, but beggars can't be choosers. Another Lotus Petal matchup. Okay. What are you playing? Simian Spirit Guide. Oops, all spells? Uh-oh, and I kept a hand that doesn't interact. I guess we could see what build they're playing. My own fault. I should have known always have Force of Will. What was I thinking? And it looks like they actually have the 4th Pact of Negation in their hand. So they had a protected turn 1 win. And they're playing the green build with Disciple of Freyles, which means that they likely have Force of Vigor in the sideboard. Okay, we lose. Alright, so we want Flusterstorm, Force of Negation. We likely want the Veil of Summers as well. So they have Thoughtseize, but they also have Pact of Negation, that sort of thing, and the Nile Spellbombs. We don't need the Cavern of Souls. That can get out of our deck. I don't think that trying to be the tempo deck is ideal here. So we're going to board out the Cosmogoyf package, get rid of the Murktide Regents. Okay, so that's 62 cards. Maybe shave a couple copies of Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. We'll try this. On the play. So the build that our opponent showed in game 1, oh man, this hand is good. But my only blue card is the one of Thassa's Oracle. I wish that this Undercity Sewers was an untap land. Or if this Oracle was any other blue card. I think I have to mulligan this, which feels real bad. Alright, well this hand is better anyway. Okay, so I don't need to stress it. We'll keep bottom the Ponder. Play the Misty Rainforest. And I think we just pass the turn and don't show them the Nile Spellbomb. Because if they're oops all spells, they're likely going to just jam. And then I could Veil of Summer, Force of Will, untap Spellbomb them maybe? And they're playing the Summoner's Pact, sure. So they have to beat my double interaction here. Cabal Ritual, you got it. Undercity Informer. Force of Will, Exile Ponder. They do have a Summoner's Pact trigger that they have to pay for in their upkeep. So we'll just pass the turn. Don't show them any other cards. So right now they know that I'm a deck with Misty Rainforest, Ponder, and Force of Will. And now the Summoner's Pact trigger will make them lose the game. Woot woot. Now we're on the draw for game number 3. Okay. Still no changes on my end. I suppose if you do have to exile the Thassa's Oracle, your one win condition would be Street Wraith Beatdown, which seems real sketchy. I mean, this is a hand that plays Magic. We're going to try it. My one fear with this hand is that Force of Negation does not interact well against the creatures of the deck. And this is sort of one of the issues with Legacy, in my opinion, is that they can beat Force of Negation because Force of Negation doesn't hit Undercity Informer or Balustrade Spy or anything like that. Same thing with Flusterstorm. So while we have 2 pieces of interaction here, they're not great pieces of interaction. They feel a little flimsy. Okay, they have a turn 1 land that's tapped, and they pass. They did mulligan to 5. Lotus Petal, sure. We'll play Polluted Delta and pass. They play a land. 3 cards in hand will fetch. Grab the Undercity Sewers and Surveil. Don't want to fetch land. Nile Spellbomb, that is one that I want. So we'll play that. Feeling a lot more comfortable right now. Pass the turn. They play their 4th mana source, 3rd land. I think I'm just going to untap. You could unstep Brainstorm, I just don't think it's the right move. Thoughtseize was a good draw, we'll play it. Well, that's a hand. Take the Pact of Negation. And then we'll play Ponder. More pieces of interaction. I think we'll shuffle this. Dark Ritual, pass the turn. Another Dark Ritual. Let's play Ponder. I think we keep this. Alright, so I want the Misty Rainforest because I would like to Brainstorm and get rid of these Dark Rituals. They just don't help me. Okay. And now we're feeling pretty comfortable here. Under City Informer. So maybe their game plan is to just like beat me to death here. I have to find a Doomsday before I lose the game. I think you just let that go. We have the Now Spell Bomb. We'll fetch. Grab the Underground Mortuary. Get rid of the Veil of Summer. We don't need that. And a Daze. I'm going to hold the Brainstorm. I could cast it looking for the Doomsday, but my life total isn't under a ton of pressure. So I want to just increase my odds of finding what we want and not Brainstorm locking myself. And they're going to play the Summoner's Pact. Interesting. Sure. They find Foundation Breaker. Okay. We know that they still have Reanimate in their hand. What to do, what to do. I would like to Brainstorm first. I would like more information. The Oracle is on top. So we can put back the land, Thassa's Oracle, and then I'll Force of Will, exiling Force of Negation. They have a Pact of Negation. Okay. So I could counterspell the Pact of Negation, but I kind of want it to resolve, but maybe that's just me being greedy. The question is, can I beat their deck when they flip it? So they're going to have double Cabal Therapy, plus the Memories Journey and the Reanimate in their hand, which I don't think I can beat all that if I let it flip. So I think I'll just hard cast the Force of Negation here. And now the Force of Will on Foundation Breaker. And they still have Reanimate in their hand, I have not forgotten. And now I can Daze the Reanimate. And if they sacrifice the Lotus Petal, they can't pay for the Summoner's Pact or activate the Undercity Informer. So they have one card left, and I believe it's an unknown. I will Force of Negation, exile Flusterstorm. What's your last card? It has to be able to pay for the Summoner's Pact. Simian Spirit Guide, which doesn't pay. And now they activate the Undercity Informer. With all these triggers on the stack, we can just exile their graveyard. Target you. We did it. We beat Oops all spells without ever resolving a Doomsday. How about that? Alright, we are now 2-0. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round 3, game number 1, we're on the draw. Sorry, I almost said on the play. We've opened up a pretty darn good hand I'm going to keep. I like the Cosmogoyf plus Murktide Regent combo. So far, that's been pretty impressive this league. The opponent plays Scalding Tarn. Ponder. I'm just going to play my Polluted Delta and pass. On the end step, we'll grab a Surveil land. Those are easy ways to fill the graveyard for the Murktide Regent. You might be saying, why not just play Consider? You could, but Consider's also the blue card in my hand for Force of Will right now. They get rid of a Show and Tell. That's interesting. I think you want to sideboard out the Cosmogoyf package in this matchup. And a Force of... I'm sorry, and a Show and Tell. We will Force of Will. Exile... Ponder. If I have to Consider, I want to keep that option open. Okay. And I think they surveil the way the other Show and Tell, maybe knowing who I am. So we got away with one there. We'll keep the Thoughtseize on top. 4 cards left in their hand. We'll play the Thoughtseize. Their hand is just 2 large fatties and a stock up. We'll take the stock up. Pass. Should have kept that other Show and Tell on top. And step will fetch, and we'll grab the other Surveil land here, the Underground Mortuary. Don't want a Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. That can go straight to the graveyard. Dark Ritual. I think I'm going to play the Cosmogoyf here, and then we'll pass. Next turn I can play the Murktide Regent, or if I happen to find a Doomsday off the Consider, that's a win. They play Polluted Delta. Getting rid of the City of Traders, a good sign for me. End step will play the Consider. Get rid of Tamiyo the Inquisitive Student once again. No Doomsday. Edge of Autumn. Let's float a blue, and I'm actually going to cycle the Edge of Autumn here, just praying to draw a Doomsday. No such luck. We'll play the Murktide Regent. Alright, Big Dragon. And then play Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. will attack for 6. This will knock them down to 13. And luckily enough, I have 13 damage on the board. They fetch with the Polluted Delta, Volcanic Island, Basic Island. Did you draw a third show and tell? No, he stock up. So I think we got this one. The beatdown was in me all along. I just needed to find it. A more true story is I missed the top 8 of a Star City Games Legacy Open in 2012, 2013. Basically, I was really bad at combat math. And my opponent was playing Stoneblade whenever Trinium Nemesis was released. I think that was 2013, maybe early 2014. My opponent just ridiculed me about how I was so bad at Magic that I couldn't do basic combat math because I shouldn't have won the game. And they weren't wrong. I made a large number of goblins with Empty the Warrens, and if I was better at the game, I would have won. Instead, I just threw it away. And at that point, I decided I was going to fix that problem, and I actually drafted a whole bunch. I played a lot of Limited, and now I have a much better understanding of combat math. I won't say that I'm perfect, but I'm better than I used to be. And that sort of stuff doesn't happen nearly as often, but I would recommend playing some Limited if you're bad at combat. So against Show and Tell, I want to take out the beatdown game plan, I believe. We're at 61 cards. Maybe cut like one copy of Tamiyo? We can try this. Game number 2, we've opened up a wonderful hand I will keep. My opponent said in the chat after the game, it's not every day I get to play against the Pioneer of Storm every day, so there's that. Their words, not mine. And I said, I'm a tempo gamer. Didn't you see last game? And it's true. This league, I'm much more of a tempo gamer than I am a combo player. But this game, our way to win is being a combo deck. We have not actually resolved a Doomsday in this league, and we are undefeated. I mean, that's kind of cool, right? They shuffled on the Ponder, and now they play a Lotus Petal, 5 cards in their hand. Oh, there's a Doomsday. Okay. I suppose we're supposed to try to win the game at some point, but... And Show and Tell most likely isn't going to just concede. There's always the possibility, but who knows. So the way that this game is shaped out, I was planning on playing Tamiyo Inquisitive Student as like my thing to do, and then we drew the Doomsday. So I believe that Tamiyo Inquisitive Student is now the blue card that I plan on exiling to Force of Will. Another Veil of Summer. Think we keep that? We'll fetch and grab Tropical Island, Dark Ritual, Flusta. Our opponent is playing a Flusta Storm. I will Veil of Summer. They have 4 cards in their hand. I would like to draw a land off this, because then I can pass the turn. Force Will, exiling Atraxa. I guess we're dueling here. I will Force Will, exiling Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Draw off the Veil of Summer. Land. Another Dark Ritual. That's a bummer. Really wanted a land there. Dark Ritual and Doomsday. They have 2 cards remaining in their hand. So we likely want the Thassa's Oracle, Cavern of Souls, Brainstorm, Edge of Autumn. And I don't think there's like a real way this game... Like, I guess I could put Thoughtseize in the pile somewhere, but then I have to pass the turn if I'm trying to beat a Consign to Memory. Grab the Street Wraith, because there's no Lotus Petals in my deck. So if I draw for turn, and it's a Street Wraith, I cycle the Street Wraith down to 3 cards in deck. I cast Brainstorm, so I don't actually need the Edge of Autumn. But a Force of Will wouldn't be bad. Okay. So we'll put the Force of Will on the bottom. Cavern of Souls, Thassa's Oracle, Brainstorm, and Street Wraith. Pass the turn. They play Polluted Delta, 2 cards left in their hand. Come on, tap out for a sneak attack. That's what I would like to see here. Stock up. Okay. They put 2 cards to their hand. And now a Ponder, so I don't have to worry about Consign to Memory anymore. They shuffled on the Ponder. So I'll draw a card down to 4 cards left in deck. We'll cycle Street Wraith. 3 cards left in deck once this cycle resolves. And now I can Brainstorm. This will draw the remaining 3 cards of the deck. Put back Dark Ritual and Veil of Summer. We'll play Cavern of Souls, say Merfolk. And then we'll make Merfolk mana. And a blue mana off of the Undercity Sewers. Play the Thassa's Oracle with Force of Will back up. Easy. 3-0 with Cosmogoyf Doomsday. How about that? Well, hopefully we get the last two.
The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly.
Round number 4, we're on the play. We're facing It's Julian. Last time I faced them, I believe they were on Painter, so I don't know what they're playing today. This is a turn 1 Tamiyo plus Daze. I think we're supposed to keep this. I don't know what they're actually playing today. We'll play Underground Sea and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Pass the turn. Verdant Catacombs, so not Painter. Basic Forest into Allosaurus Shepherd. Well, I can't Daze that. Okay, well, that's not good for me. And we draw another Daze, of course. I'll attack with the Tamiyo. I would like to brainstorm into Dark Ritual Doomsday. Oh, I mean, we found a Doomsday. Put back the pair of Dazes. Tamiyo transforms. This is a matchup where I wish I had Lotus Petals in my deck. We'll play the Polluted Delta and pass the turn. Another Allosaurus Shepherd. Dryad Arbor. We'll fetch with the Polluted Delta. The best thing I could find here is Dark Ritual. Actually, Dark Ritual would still... No, I think I could win with a Dark Ritual. Cosmogoyf. We'll put the Cosmogoyf to the graveyard. Not what we want to be doing in this matchup. Thoughtseize. I think I like playing the Thoughtseize here. Maybe it's a little greedy. We'll Thoughtseize them. Because, like, I could Doomsday pass. But what if they just, like, combo out and kill me? 2 Heritage Druids and a Glimpse of Nature. Well, we'll take the Glimpse of Nature. Play the Underground Sea. Plus the Tamiyo Planeswalker. Pass the turn. They play the Heritage Druid. Verdant Catacombs is the land. And then the other Heritage Druid, I'm guessing. Yep. So they have Craterhoof Behemoth and 1 Unknown. Which was a Birchlore Rangers. Alright, we're in a Dark Ritual waiting room right now. Use the clue token. We draw the Oracle. That doesn't help me either. Okay, let's see it. Daze. Really wish I had Lotus Petals in my deck. That's what I'm taking away from this game right now. So I could downtick, take the Craterhoof Behemoth, and then next turn they can fetch, tap 3 things, and then attack me for 10 if I take the Craterhoof from their hand. I think I'd like to start with Brainstorm. So I could play a big Murktide Regent, but that's not good enough here. We'll get rid of the Cosmogoyf and the Daze. We'll play Ponder. Shuffle this. We draw another Daze. Minus the Tamiyo to return Thoughtseize. Play the Thoughtseize to discard the Craterhoof Behemoth. We'll play the Cavern of Souls. We'll name Wizard. Pass the turn. So, assuming they don't kill me, which is possible here, next turn I can play Doomsday and then cycle into Street Wraith that cycles into a land that allows me to play Thassa's Oracle. They fetch with the Verdant Catacombs. They can grab the other Dryad Arbor here, and they do. So, doing my counting, they have 3 mana between the lands, 3 mana to tap the Heritage Druid. Well, they tap that. So that's like, well, they drew the land, so that's exactly lethal. Ah, that's a bummer. Wait, did they tap wrong? Yeah, Julian tapped wrong. If Julian would have tapped the Dryad Arbor, it was lethal. But instead, I get a chance to win this. Wow, we got away with one. Okay, so let's think through this. Doomsday. Cycle Edge of Autumn into Street Wraith. Cycle Street Wraith into a land. Thassa's Oracle. Like, that's all I have to do here. We'll play the Doomsday. And I could even put a fetch land in there. So, we have the Oracle. We could put Polluted Delta. Island, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Street Wraith. And I just don't think the other cards matter. So, Tropical Island. Force of Will. So, we'll put Force of Will on the bottom. Tropical Island. Island. Polluted Delta. Street Wraith. Oh, no! I just punted! I can't cycle Street Wraith. I forgot about going to 2. Could I have 1? Cycle down to 4, fetch down to 3. Yeah, I could have. I forgot about the life loss from Doomsday. Wow, Julian punted to me, and then I punted back. Wait, hold on. So I could cycle Edge of Autumn, and then return the Edge of Autumn with the Tameo, and then we can make a blue. Cycle Edge of Autumn, pick up the Polluted Delta. Did I accidentally unmess this up? I almost punted. Oh my. Okay. And then Oracle. I mean, you could play the Ponder here, it just doesn't clear the deck. Okay, so we ended up getting there. Okay, so we won game 1. Facing Elves. We probably want the Abrupt Decays. We don't have a whole lot of cards for this matchup, I won't lie. I feel like Cosmogoyf is never dealing lethal. We could probably sideboard those out. Maybe bring in a few copies of Force of Negation for like Glimpse of Nature or Natural Order, assuming they don't have the Allosaurus Shepherd. Am I supposed to board down Murktide Regents to bring in more free counter magic versus the Allosaurus Shepherd deck? I don't know. Like, I can't imagine myself attacking multiple times with the Murktide Regent to beat Elves. So maybe we do? Get rid of the Murktide Regents. We're all in on counter magic versus the Allosaurus Shepherd deck. Normally you want to board those cards out, not me. I'm going to double down. Well, this is a turn 1 Doomsday with Force backup. We keep these. This hand is good. Okay, Verdant Catacombs. Bayou. Nettle Sentinel. You're allowed to have that. Misty Rainforest will fetch. Grab Underground Sea. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. Alright, so there's still no Lotus Petals in this deck, so we have to build a slower pile. I wouldn't mind an Abrupt Decay, Tropical Island, Thassa's Oracle, Edge of Autumn, and Street Wraith. Does this make sense? I guess not really. I guess I just don't need the Abrupt Decay, so we'll put in a fetch land. Okay, so Tropical Island goes in the bottom. And then Oracle above that. And then Cyclers, and then Polluted Delta on top. Pass the turn. And now they have the Allosaurus Shepherd. Ah, brutal. I could have played the turn 1 Thoughtseize, but I figured if they didn't play the Shepherd on turn 1, they didn't have it. I think I'm dead. Wow. Okay. Brutal. And the turn 2 Natural Order. GG. Outplayed. Okay, so we'll try to win game number 3. The no Lotus Petal thing is a little brutal, I won't lie. Let's try that again. Okay, so this hand doesn't have Doomsday. Can't find Doomsday. I mean, I guess you can lean on Brainstorm. You know what? We'll keep. I don't know if it's going to get much better anyway. Play the Polluted Delta and we'll pass. Once Upon a Time. I'm going to let this go. You could Force of Negation. It's just, I think it's a kind of sketchy play. They have Bayou, Nettle Sentinel again. We will Surveil. Alright, Undercity Sewers, the Oracle. That can go to the graveyard. Force of Will. I'll cycle the Street Wraith. We're just looking for Doomsday. It's not like this deck can convert if you cycle your cyclers anyway. Like, there's no Lion's Eye Diamond or Lotus Petals or anything. We draw another land. We'll play the Brainstorm. No Doomsdays. Alright, put back 2 lands. We have to pass. There's one other Surveil land we can grab. We go to 15. Again, all 3 games, the Allosaurus Shepherd just making me look foolish. Sure. Alright, I'm going to call the place. This is ridiculous. 2 games in a row, perfect openers. Jeez. Even if we draw Doomsday, we can't win this. Okay. All the counter magic in the world doesn't matter versus Allosaurus Shepherd. Green Sun Zenith for 3. I mean, I can't counter it, so sure. Leovold, is that it? Leovold is an elf, fun fact. So I guess a winning game might look like me finding Abrupt Decay. They grab an Elvish Visionary. And then killing the Allosaurus Shepherd and hoping that they just, like, don't do anything. We'll grab the Underground Mortuary. Well, I'm not going to give up a Doomsday. The problem is if I Doomsday, I'm dead. Even if they don't activate the Allosaurus Shepherd. So I have to pass here. They activate the Shepherd, and that's plenty lethal. Alright, so we did not win the match. Elves was too powerful, and unfortunately we got our first loss. We are 3-1 with Cosmogoyf Doomsday.
With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week?
The fifth and final match of this Legacy League. We're on the draw. We've opened up quite the hand. I will keep. Our opponent has said in chat that they're excited to face Storm. Bad news for them. But we have a solid hand where we have True-One Thoughtseize, we have Force of Will. If we can find a third land, we have Doomsday. There's a lot to like about this hand. Once Upon a Time. Sure. They find a Beseiju Who Endures into Sultai Lantern. You got it. 3 cards in their hand. I mean, I think they're just fate playing lands. Like, do I even want to play this Thoughtseize? I don't think I do. I'm going to just play the Underground Mortuary. But I could always play Thoughtseize next turn and not hit away from the loan potentially. Another Doomsday. That one can go to the graveyard. They play Urza's Tower. Okay, so is this like Cloud Post? They're going to Beseiju my land. I will gladly get another here. Undercity Sewers. I love that. We'll keep the Tropical Island against a potential Wasteland strategy. I say potential because it's not clear that it is. We'll play the Thoughtseize. Oh, a Spirit Guide. Okay, so they have an Ancient Tomb and nothing else going on. I'll just fetch Underground Sea and Ponder. I like all of this. Actually, this isn't even that good. Because the Dark Ritual doesn't make me any faster here. So I believe that this is a shuffle. We drew the best card out of those 3 anyway. The Daze. Pass the turn. They draw a card with the Sultai Lantern, that's fine. They play a Caracas. And we draw into Ponder. I think this is just a boring cast Doomsday win. We'll grab the other Underground Sea. Play Doomsday. Opponent plays a Crop Rotation. The last card in their hand is Ancient Tomb. I'm going to just Force of Will this. Get rid of the Murktide Regent. And now we select the Thassa's Oracle. Both Cyclers. Maybe like a Force of Will, and Consider. Okay, so I'm trying to think of how I lose this. It's like Endurance, but they can't even Endurance me. So I don't think it actually matters what you do here. You could probably click Shuffle and it would be okay. We'll put Force of Will on the bottom, Consider above it. Oracle, double cycle. Like, it actually does not matter here. Pass the turn. They play the known Ancient Tomb. We draw the Street Wraith, we'll cycle. Float a blue. Cycle the Edge of Autumn. Play the Tropical Island. I suppose we'll Ponder. Take the Consider. And play Thassa's Oracle. Alright, we're 1 game away from a 4-1 positive record with Cosmogoyf. What I believe we're facing is Cloud Post, which is not a great Daze matchup. So I think maybe you board out the Dazes and you just bring in Force of Negations. Let's try this. Game number 2, we're on the draw. This hand seems great. We'll keep. Our opponent with a very fast mulligan to 5, like milliseconds between 6 and 5. They play a Planar Nexus. We draw Brainstorm. I would like to begin the game on Thoughtseize. Why did you mulligan so aggressively? Karn the Great Piece of Trash, is that why? Get rid of it. Pass the turn. They play Ancient Tomb. They can Crop Rotation off of Elvish Spirit Guide at any moment. We'll play the Underground Sea, Dark Ritual, Doomsday. Okay, so we want Thassa's Oracle. I'm going to put in 2 blue mana sources here just in case something goes wrong. And then probably like a Force of Will. And I don't know, Street Wraith. Put the lands on the bottom. Wait, what just happened? It undid the pile as I was building it? I've never seen that before. Oh, okay, I didn't click done. That was the problem. Whoops. First time ever playing Magic. Please forgive me. Alright, we'll put 2 lands on the bottom. The Thassa's Oracle, Force of Will can be on top. And we'll pass. If they try to Crop Rotation off of Elvish Spirit Guide, we can Force of Will at any moment. They play a Forest. The One Ring. I guess we'll Brainstorm. We know that their hand is Crop Rotation, Elvish Spirit Guide. Put back the Doomsday and Street Wraith. Force of Will, the One Ring. Play the Misty Rainforest, we'll fetch. Grab Underground Sea. cycle the Street Wraith, play Thassa's Oracle. Our opponent said GG's and that Doomsday versus Cloud Post is a bye. I don't play enough Doomsday to know, but we did go 4-1 with Cosmogoyf Doomsday, only losing to Julian of the Eternal Everyday Eternal podcast with Allosaurus Shepherd draws that were just, devastating. The deck felt pretty good. We got to do the tempo thing. We got to do the Doomsday thing. It was a lot of fun. I do know that in my recording queue, I also have another card from Edge of Eternities to feature in Doomsday. It is called Quantum Riddler, which enables some pretty fun Doomsday piles. So that should be coming up soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of Cosmogoyf, if it has legs or if it's just a meme. I'd love to hear from you. But thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, keep storming.
Hey you, you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation-decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.